All right, let's dive right into this explainer and explore a truly fascinating shift in the automotive world. Today, we're moving away from the universally recognized, flashy mainstream supercars, and we're stepping into the rare, heavily understated world of German muscle. We're going to look at vehicles that aren't just about showing off wealth, but about a deep, refined appreciation for engineering and sleeper aesthetics. And hey, along the way, we're definitely going to spark some of that childhood nostalgia that made so many of us fall in love with cars in the first place. So, here's our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start by defining the connoisseur. Then look at the R63 AMG Super Minivan, the E55 wagon's understated muscle, the necessary failure of the R231 SL, and finally wrap things up with the CL63 Grand Tourer. You know the universally loved cars. If you see a classic Mercedes driving down the street, it's pretty easy to appreciate its beauty. But I want to pose a question to challenge our understanding of automotive taste. What actually separates a casual fan from a true connoisseur? Section 1, Defining the Connoisseur, Beyond the Mainstream. Let's figure out what it actually takes to be considered an expert in this highly specific niche. The baseline here is surprisingly simple. Being a connoisseur isn't just about buying the most expensive things or having the deepest pockets at the dealership. It's really about possessing a deeply refined appreciation for the hidden gems of automotive engineering. It's knowing the history, the mechanics, and those super subtle design choices that the average person literally just walks right past. There is a really clear contrast to keep in mind. On one hand, you have the mainstream icons, cars like the SLR, the legendary 300 SL, or the CLK GTR. Now, don't get me wrong, these cars are absolutely epic. Even cars like the famous AMG Hammer fit into this category now, just because everybody includes them. But because they are so universally loved, they're almost too mainstream to truly judge a person's unique taste. If someone says they love the SLR, well, of course they do. It's obvious. But on the flip side, we have the true connoisseurs picks. These are understated. They're highly rare. They have what we call a sleeper aesthetic, meaning they look like normal, everyday commuter cars, but they hide absolute monsters under the hood. To really appreciate these, you have to know exactly what you're looking at. Moving into Section 2, the R63 AMG Super Minivan, the ultimate sleeper reveal. This thing perfectly embodies the connoisseur philosophy by hiding raw, incredible power in literally the most unexpected package imaginable. So the crucial point with this vehicle is extreme scarcity. You might look at an R63 and think it's just a wagon, but it's actually a van. And seeing one of these in the wild, it is incredibly rare because less than 200 of them were ever produced. Let that sink in. Less than 200. Because of that, when one actually goes up for sale, it gets gobbled up instantly by collectors. It's a true automotive unicorn. And here is exactly why they get gobbled up. It is absolutely wild to think that this unassuming minivan, a vehicle literally designed to take kids to soccer practice, can hit 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. That is sports car territory, entirely hidden inside a family hauler. Just listen to this DNA. Under the hood sits a monstrous 6.2-liter naturally aspirated M156 engine, pushing out well over 500 horsepower. Combine that with a 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, and you've got an absolute rocket ship, visually disguised as a standard, boring passenger van. It is the ultimate sleeper. You and I might never get the chance to buy one, sure, but simply knowing it exists and respecting its engineering, that is exactly what makes you a connoisseur. Section 3, the E55 wagon, understated muscle, a German muscle enthusiast's dream. This is another perfect example. It looks like a standard estate car, but commands ultimate respect from those in the know. There's this hilarious anecdote from the original creator that just perfectly captures the aura of this car. He recalls looking out a window, totally lost in thought, when suddenly a silver E55 wagon flew past. He reacted so strongly, he actually jump-scared his own mother, prompting her to kick him. As he perfectly puts it, she doesn't understand what a W211 E55 AMG wagon does to a man, and she never will. It captures that passionate, almost visceral reaction this car evokes from true fans. It is widely considered a future classic for very good reasons. The technical lore behind these cars really comes down to a face-off between two legendary engines. First, we have the M156. That's the 6.2-liter we saw in the R63. It's known for its raw 500-plus horsepower and high performance. But then you have the M113. This V8 features a simple single overhead cam design with absolutely zero variable timing. And for the lesser knowledgeable folks out there, what that essentially means is it was designed for unmatched reliability. It's just a beautifully simple, solid engine. True connoisseurs will debate all day between the raw power of the M156 and the bulletproof reliability of the M113. Appreciating the distinct character of both is totally key to understanding German muscle. Section 4, the R231SL, a necessary failure, showcasing evolution through automotive design. This goes to show how you can appreciate a car not for its aesthetic perfection, but for the hard, vital lessons it taught the brand. This is your ultimate silver lining reframe. Back in 2012, the R231SL is revealed, and the reaction was, well, let's just say it wasn't pretty. It was considered mid by a lot of enthusiasts. But a true connoisseur looks at the broader timeline. The perceived failure of the SL's design was actually a necessary stepping stone. The designers looked at that failure, learned from those aesthetic mistakes in the mid-2010s, and that directly led to a whole new era. By 2018, we saw generational perfection achieved in cars like the modern S-Coupe, which is practically on another level, competing straight up with the Continental GT. Without the failure of the R231SL, we literally might never have gotten the masterpiece coupes we see today. Finally, Section 5, the CL63, the ultimate grand tourer, built like a tank, ahead of its time. Here, we step away from the mainstream choices completely to focus on a massive grand tourer from 2007 that was undeniably ahead of the curve. The thing to understand here is that the CL63 perfectly blends the extreme luxury of a grand tourer with just terrifying AMG power. Think of it as the predecessor to the S63 Coupe. It's powered by that legendary 6.2-liter M156 engine, pushing over 500 horsepower. But what really makes it special is its presence. It's heavy, it's durable, and it's structurally built like a tank. I mean, the creator even noted learning about its durability early on by repeatedly crashing his heavy die-cast models of the CL63 together as a kid. Even back in 2007, this car easily outperformed contemporary rivals like the M5. Having AMG power inside a Grand Tour was something you'd expect to see in the mid-2010s or 2020s, but they were already doing it perfectly in 2007. As we wrap up this explainer, I've got one final provocative question to leave you with, just to help you gauge your own automotive tastes. When you look at the landscape of incredible vehicles out there, what actually draws you in? Do you prefer the flashy, obvious, mainstream popularity of the supercars, or do you find yourself drawn to the scarcity, the sleeper aesthetics, and the understated power of true German muscle? If you find yourself marveling at a 500 horsepower minivan or a rock-solid V8 wagon over a widely loved supercar, well, you just might be a true automotive connoisseur. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and I hope it leaves you looking at the cars on the road a little bit differently today.